Greetings everyone and welcome to another traditional draft of Phyrexia All Will Be One. And I just looked at my draft archetypes I've been drafting in this format, and I haven't really drafted anything blue. There was like maybe one or at most two unrecorded drafts where I had blue in my deck. I have played at least one blue-white deck. So it would be kind of fun to actually draft a blue deck. And Distorted Curiosity might be a card worth first picking, but it's not the best card in the pack. I mean, the Flensing Raptor is, although this puts you pretty firmly into the Toxic archetype, which is not difficult when you are white, unless you are white-red, I guess. I could take the Eye of Malcator as well and just try to go with the blue-white artifact stuff. Pestilent Siphoner. Yeah, I mean, maybe the correct pick is the Raptor, but I'm gonna go with the Malcator. Let's try to see if the blue-white artifact deck can happen. Well, first of all, had I taken the what I believe is the best card, the Flensing Raptor, I think I would just take another one here, and that would be a good start for a white something toxic deck. Well, I didn't take the Raptor, so I'm not going to take it here either, because I actually see a Kangaroo Bloom here. And while green-blue isn't exactly an artifact, archetype, green doesn't really have a lot of artifacts, if any, in this set. I haven't actually paid attention. This, I believe, is the best card in the pack. Very, very efficient 2-drop. Even can trade with 4 drops. Definitely trades with 3 drops, apart from some rares that might be 2-4 or some 1-4s. But yeah, I'll take the Kangaroo Bloom here. It is the pick. Yeah, but it would have been the Raptor had I first picked the Raptor. But, hey, okay, this is, well, first of all, pretty sick. I could have started the draft with a triple Raptor. I just wanted to draft something different, especially in a recorded video. Although I haven't really done any unrecorded drafts in a while. But regardless, it would be somewhat boring to just go with this. But I mean, if I knew I'm gonna get 3 back-to-back Raptors, of course I would have taken all of them, and I would have been off to a great start. But there is a Troller Drake. Now this is actually very good with green, because green has a lot of proliferate. So I'm gonna take this, and maybe this could be like a blue-green deck. I will ignore the Malcator because it doesn't really work with green. Assuming green will be open though. But yeah, this is the pick, and the Thrumming Bird would also work in some proliferating decks. But this can really grow nicely. But let's take this and see. Okay, one thing I am happy about is that there is nothing like amazing for the white toxic deck. I suppose if I mean, it would be a rather easy choice. I mean, it's not an easy pick because I could take either the Blightbelly Rat or the Stalker. Had I picked 3 of those flyers, it would have to be a 2-drop toxic card at this point. I don't know which I would have been preferring here. Another thing is that if I still ignore the Kangaroo Bloom, I could take the Whale of Assimilation and try to make the Eye of Malcator work. I could just take the Gitaxian Raptor, which works in the green-blue kind of proliferating deck. This is really good though in an artifact deck. I don't know. The Raptor is good, but okay, I'll take the uncommon. Now this might not be the wisest picks you can make, but I just want to really do something different here. And I have a good win streak, so I can afford to have a draft where I don't win all the 3 matches. So this would be, but of course the blue-white artifact archetype is quite good actually. So if I get that artifact to be open, which could be, I could be having a really good deck still. Anyway, I will ignore the Kangaroo Bloom. I actually don't see anything like green too much here. The Transplant Theorist is good. So this or another artifact enters the battlefield, you get to loot, and then there's an ability that's really relevant. But mostly it's gonna be the pick when I have the Malcator thing. Oh, another Whale of Assimilation. Well, I mean, I'm all in now in the blue, white deck. The Troller Drake isn't the greatest in there. I might cut it, but for now, of course, I'll take the Whale of Assimilation. Now, all I need is just artifacts, artifact creatures, artifacts. Hopefully, that's gonna happen. I will cut the Kangaroo Bloom right now. None of these is an artifact. I have 3 cards. Well, the Zealot's Conviction isn't that great if you can't somewhat reliably corrupt the opponent. The Glistener here is decent, the Ichor Synthesizer is decent, but neither of these is an artifact. I actually just take the Surgical Bay, because if you have 2 Veil of Assimilations, you really just want to have artifacts in the deck. I'm not desperate enough to pick an off-color Skull Bomb right now, but I might be doing that later on. Okay, there's a Meltweb Spider. There's also an Orthodoxy Enforcer. I mean, this isn't an artifact, but it's pretty good in an artifact deck. But I think I take the Strider. Did I say Spider? Well, I meant Strider at least. This enters with 1 oil counter, so you can play this and you can always block with the 1 oil counter or threaten blocking. And then later on you can just maybe crew it. But I'm gonna take this now, it's a decent card. And now I kinda, soft forced perhaps blue. I have only 2 white cards, but they are really important in the blue-white artifact deck, so I'm willing to, just go for it. Pick some white cards that are artifacts, I mean. Okay, I can take the Blighted Onslaught. I'm not sure if I'm gonna main deck it. It really depends on how the deck's gonna look like in the end. Okay, Ichor Synthesizer. I really want my 2-drops to be artifacts, but I suppose I'll take the on-color card over the off-color Skull Bomb. Complete Devotion. I don't like this card if I don't have a toxic creatures. So yeah, let's take this now. And then... okay, I'll take the rare. Yeah, it's not playable in limited, but it's 20 gems. And I will take the artifact now. It's not a great card, but it's playable if you care about the artifacts. Tamiya's Longbook. I don't think this can be a good card. It might be a sideboard card. I doubt I'm gonna run that card in the main. It's too slow. Okay, give me something white. Well, there's nothing white here, but there's actually 2 options. I could, take the Ken Smith plan here. That's, repeated triggers if you have like 3 of these in the deck. It's a pretty bad card, so it's easy to get these late. But I will take the Eye of Malcator. This is a key card in this archetype. There's some nice black and white rare. There's a very nice black uncommon, another very nice black uncommon, a nice green uncommon too. But with double Veil of Assimilation, I just feel like I'm gonna go with the force the blue-white. There's also a Vault Charge, so this is a pretty good pack overall, but I'm happy to take the Eye of Malcator here. And can I please have artifact creatures? No. And why all the Skull Bombs I see are Dross Skull Bombs? Well, there's a Black Sun's Twilight. I think it might be time to, at least splash this. This is pretty dunk wound if you can cast it with X equals 5. So I'm gonna take this. It is a splashable card. Let's get some mana fixing and yeah. Hopefully I get some. Well, there's a Dune Mover. This is an artifact creature, but it's not so great when you can't corrupt the opponent. But I could see playing it in this archetype still. But I'm still taking the Dune Mover because it's also a 2-drop artifact. And it helps splash the Twilight. Now there is a Surgical Skull Bomb, which I would be really interested in having. But I also think I need some creatures. There's only 4. And I don't think I have any equipment either, with 4 meter in. Nope. I'm gonna take a 2-drop. Yeah, I'm passing some nice stuff, but I made my choice in pack 1. Okay, Mandible Justiciar. That is exactly the kind of common you want to have. A lot of copies in this deck. Prophetic Prism would be nice with the Twilight, of course. But yeah, it's an easy pick. The Justiciar is the actual choice here. Okay, there's a Chrome Prowler. There's a very nice blue-red uncommon. I could have... if I didn't have exactly 2 of these Veil of Assimilations, I think I would have been more flexible in some other colors. I could have taken the Red Burn spell earlier, and then I could now get rewarded by being past the Chimera here. But it's fine. I'm gonna just take the Chrome Plotter. I'm not taking the Kinsmith. This would allow splash the Black Sun's Twilight, but I can maybe get one of these later in the draft. This is pack 2 only. And no artifact creatures, but there's now a Surgical Skull Bomb which I can take. That's actually quite nice. And here, okay, I can take, this is a 3-drop artifact creature, it's all I needed. It's not amazing, but, it's not an artifact creature, but, it's an artifact, and effectively it is a 3-drop creature. So let's do this. And Basilica Skull Bomb, alright, yeah, on-color Skull Bomb, definitely. If I care about artifact triggers with double eye, double whale, and it's not a bad card. You can always cycle it for cheap if you don't have time to make one of your guys fly. Here I can take the Mirror Smith. If I get 2 of these I might play them, but I would ideally have 3. I mean, if I'm gonna go for it, but let's just pick it now. Draw Skull Bomb. I'm supposed to take the 1-drop now, just to have some blockers. Okay, the Enforcer is playable. It's a 4/4 Vigilance in this deck quite easily actually. So how many artifacts I have now? 15. As you can see, it's not hard to end up with a lot of artifacts. Here I just take the Surgical Bay. I don't want to play too many non-artifact creatures, so let's take the card drawing land. And here, ooh, I could take either of these, but I think I'll take the Kinsmith now that I, started with that route. This might be, a sideboard card in some occasions. Not sure though. If opponent has multiple 1-mana tricks, yeah, you can sideboard this in. Alright, so here. This Twilight isn't really worth splashing. There's an Annihilating Glare which you could splash, but maybe I should just take the Incisor Glider. I do need 2 drops. And now an artifact creature that's 1/3 for flyer for 2. That's gonna be good enough because I really need early drops. Yeah, let's take it. Non's Wellspring. Creature you control dies, cry 1, I'll counter 2. Yeah, it's a bit clumsy one. Let's see what else this pack has for me. Well, there's a Hex Gold Slash here. I don't think I'm gonna splash for that. If I'm gonna make a splash, it's gonna be the Black Sun's Twilight. Creature you control dies, cry 1, but I mean, it's... I don't know. It's just so slow to draw even 1 card, and you really want to draw at least 2 to make it worth the mana investment. I don't have any proliferating here, I don't think. This is rather weak stuff. I'm gonna take the 2-drop though, because I am a bit scared about getting ran over. Another one of these Striders. This comes with 2 artifacts, so this could be considered. But I think I like the 5-drop more, and I like these 5-drop more than the Bardish, I believe. The Chorus is maybe not for this deck. I don't want to splash these ones either. I actually do want to have some way to still splash. I have only 1 Dune Mover. I need to like a Thermorphic Expanse or the Prism or what is the card? Okay, well, let's take the Strider now. And nothing that helps me with the splash. And bring the ending. Counter spell. Well, I won't corrupt the opponent. You could play this in a pinch as a, 2-drop sort of. I have already 2 5-drops. I'm not sure if I want to play a separate, but I guess it comes with 2 artifacts, so let's do it. I don't like the other option that much. Alright, Tamiya's Immobilizer is, I think, the best card, but I might just have to take another 2-mana card now. Let's quickly see. Yeah, this is just going to be the... I mean, I'd rather play the Chrome Prowler, but I really need an early drop. This is good, though. I mean, maybe I'm supposed to take the Immo... Okay, you know what? This is just so good. I'm gonna take it. 4 tappings is a lot. Okay, Phyrexia Atlas. Ripskiff, yeah, I have 2 vehicles already. Let's take the Atlas now. That makes me able to splash the black card, I believe. And then let's take something good here still. Yeah, I'm getting past like a Slaughter Singer this late. Yeah, another Atlas. Could be maybe taken Auguries. A bit slow, I don't care about proliferating too much, but I might care about a little bit. I'm gonna actually take the Augury over a second copy of the Atlas. Font of Progress. Well, talk about a slow card. I guess it could be a sideboard card. Of course, I have a lot of cuts to make, so I'm not even sure which of these cards are going to end up in the deck. Total number of artifacts is 20. 2-drop, 1-drop with a bit more utility. I have a couple of these already. Fine, let's take the uncommon as a sideboard card. For the very off chance that there's a slow matchup. you could, sideboard this in. I don't believe it's gonna happen, but I don't think I was gonna play those other cards either. I have one Glisteners here, a couple of these synthesizers. Sure, let's take the 4-drop. No, actually not. I'll take the uncommon. I'm never gonna play the 3-4. I'm just not going to do that. Maybe I wanna sideboard into a combat trick, because this really isn't gonna make any sense. I don't have anything I wanna return to the top of my library. Let's take this, but it's mostly a sideboard card, and very unlikely addition at that. Alright, so I have these 5 drops already. I don't need another one, so I'm gonna take this. If I'm gonna splash black, I might wanna, play that either in the main deck or just sideboard it in when necessary. It does get rid of an a planeswalker. Hey, I got this thing back, which I almost picked earlier, so I'm happy about that. Because I took the Tamiya's Immobilizer over it after all. Alright, so I'm gonna admit right away that of course I forced something in this draft a little bit, of course. First of all, I talked about not having drafted anything blue, and now I kind of went with the early, was it Malcator, the first blue card I picked. So I could have started the draft with triple of these 2/2 infect flyers that can make some other of your, not infect, toxic flyers that can make some of your other toxic guys fly for a turn. That would have led me to I'm pretty sure a better deck. But this is now something different. Definitely something different. Black Sun's Twilight with Dune Mover and a Phyrexian Atlas. Maybe it's worth having here. Now, if I'm gonna do that, should I have this Edict too? Because I don't have a lot of removal. It helps that it says non-token as an option, but still, opponent having like a Crawling Chorus. Oh, I guess Crawling Chorus can die quite often. Okay, let's put the Edict in the deck for now and see what are the easy cuts. I'm not sure about the Plated Onslaught. Now, it will be a white spell quite often, but I'm not exactly sure I'm gonna have enough of a white board to make this good. And I have, this expensive stuff. I'm gonna play these 5 drops, but I'm not gonna play the Onslaught. Even though it's not exactly a 5 drop in this deck, it's definitely gonna cost less than 5 most of the time. Now, Troller Drake, I'm just gonna cut it. I have enough 3 drops of other kind that are, artifacts. The Logbook, again, a card I will be deciding in a very, very slow matchup. Mirror Custodian, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I don't need it. I have enough 3 mana plays here. Theorist, I'm gonna play. I kind of want to play the Enforcer, but now do I play the Kinsmiths? I have only 2 of them. I think with these other 4 drops, I don't need 2 of them. And like I said, I would rather have 3, because when you have 2, there's actually, a chance to draw them both. So you don't get any value out of them. And a 4 mana 3/1 is really bad. Now it is an artifact for my synergies, but because I have these 3 5 mana cards, 3 4 mana cards, I don't want to take the Kinsmith here, and I still need to make a lot of cuts as well. Font of Progress, yeah, I'm not gonna main deck that thing. How many of these? Well, first of all, let's see my creature curve. And let's do a smart thing. Now this shows me also the equipment that has 4 mirrored in here. I don't think I have any equipment that doesn't have. This is my only equipment, right? Yep. Alright, so this is my creature curve now. 1 drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I don't want to go below 6. I guess I could see not playing the Glistening Seer. It has 0 power after all, and it's not an artifact for my synergies. So if I cut the Seer, and I can cut definitely the the pump spell here, and I guess I can cut the Augury with the 3 5 drops, 3 4 drops. Even though I have the Phyrexian Atlas and the Dune Mover, I'm gonna make the splash anyway, which also makes my colored mana base a little bit worse. I think I will be playing 17 lands here. So if I cut the Augury, the synthesizers, well, let's first cut it and see how many non-creatures I have. That is 13 non-creatures. That's actually a very decent amount of oil counters I can put on a synthesizer if I you know, get to drop one early. Now the proliferating cantrip is of course good because first of all, this gets a oil counter from the trigger and then you can proliferate immediately another one. So that's 2 counters for that one spell. But am I going to play it over some of these other cards? Because now this is basically 11 creatures only because I have the one for mirrored in equipment. And that is 17 artifacts. And of course, you can count these Eye of Malcathors as kind of creatures. They never really block unless you get to have the flash creature on the same turn. I think I have no other ways to make instant artifacts. If I had the charge of the mites, or whatever is it called, that would be one option too, because it can make 2 mites at the instant speed and they are artifacts, but I don't of course have it here. So I believe this is the only way to make an Eye of Malcathor into a blocker. But of course it is a very nice attacker, so the offensive creatures are still, the creature count of offensive creatures is, 13. I will play the Skull Bombs, I believe. Yeah, the Atlas, I won't be corrupting the opponent. I have nothing that has, well, okay, I guess I can if this hits for 3 times. But yeah, it's not really this is just mostly to mana fix a little bit. And also another thing, 3 mana rocks when you have 5 and 6 drops. Well, I don't have 6 drops, but I have 3 5 drops. This can allow a strong turn 4 play in this deck. So that it's not only fixing my mana, but it's also allowing me to play these a little bit earlier. And of course, it is still an artifact that triggers my artifact synergies. This thing also, okay, I'm still thinking about the proliferating cantrip because these are good with it, but also the Meltweb Striders are quite good with it, and the Immobilizer is good with it too. But what am I gonna cut? I mean, I think it would have to be one of the Skull Bombs, and I believe the Basilica Skull Bomb is maybe the least important one. I really care about bouncing the opponent's creatures, but maybe this +2/+2 and flying isn't necessary here. Because I just realized this, you would really want to have some proliferating with these things. Okay, you know what? Let's put in the... Oh, by the way, the Troller Drake is quite good too, because I have so many non-creatures. Oh man. This actually became a lot harder now, suddenly. So if I'm gonna play the Experimental Augury, I'm gonna cut a Basilica Skull Bomb. I still have 16 artifacts. And now the question is, because of course the Troller Drake is pretty good with this proliferating spell too. Gets 2, +2/+2 basically. And this is a lot of non-creatures. You really want to have easily 2 additional oil counters on this, because 3 mana 2/2 flyer, that doesn't cut it nowadays. Plus this is a 1/1 if you play it like on turn 3 and you can't make another non-creature spell. It's just a 1/1, so it doesn't basically block at all once you play it. But you might have a big flyer in the end. That's a tough ask, because I would have to cut something else. Now, I could cut the Sealdred's Edict from the main deck, but the amount of interaction is so low in this deck. I have the bounce spell here. Then again, I could see cutting it. Or should I actually play 16 lands? Now, I guess, total mana count wise, I might, because this is still a mana source, and this can get me a land when I need it. But it's making my colored sources worse, and I don't have even a Terramorphic Expanse. Freak. Okay, let's take the Edict away. I will sideboard it in against, in matchups where I know that I'm gonna get something good with it. So against opponents that don't have a ton of very, very cheap creatures, I'm gonna play the Troller Drake, because I really still have 12 ways to trigger it. So this is it. This is it now. And also now I have only one splash card, so if I don't draw my black mana source, I can at most have 1 black card in my hand doing nothing. Alright, so now let's just put a couple of lands I picked. And then I will need only one swamp here, because I can fetch it with the Dune Mover, and the Phyrexian Atlas is my third way to get black mana. I don't plan playing more than one black producing land here, so I guess this is pretty even. Well, no, I have only a few white cards, but I have a double caster white and some early white drops. I don't have double caster blue cards either. So all this means I'm gonna actually play even amount of white and blue. I already have 2 blues here, so I add 6 more islands and 8 plains. That's gonna be then. That is going to be, well, land-wise it's just a 8-8-1, but of course this counts as any, and this counts as any, so you could say it's like a 10-10-3. It's not exactly that, because you have to, this is only gonna be one of the colors, but usually you are missing only one color when you have this Dune Mover. Alright, so that is the deck. Definitely not the strongest, and I wanted to do something different, so that's at least that. Hey, that is a one-lander. Well, of course I cannot keep it. Hey, this is fine. I can get the swamp with this thing. And I will not play... Well, I'm definitely playing the synthesizer, because this will pick up the counters in this game. Does that mean... But no, even this thing gives it. This hand is one where I really would want to just keep it all. Now that said, if I want to curve out nicely, I should just play this on turn 2. I wouldn't be playing this on turn 1 because I want to trigger this thing. Yeah, when I'm gonna play the synthesizer, because I might have to play the Dune Mover on turn 2 if I don't draw the land, then it's gonna be a little bit awkward. Okay, let's get rid of the synthesizer, even though I'm pretty sure it would be very strong in this deck, because I already have 1, 2... that was already 3 ways to give it an oil counter. But now I'm just gonna do this. Get the swamp. I have 1 double white card in the deck, but it's more likely to draw another white source than the single swamp. Now the Whale of Assimilation doesn't work very nicely with the Melcator, because this won't be a creature when you have to choose a target for this trigger. Yeah, target creature you control, yeah, so you have to have something else to target. Now they have a synthesizer, which I sadly had to put away. It's fine though, because this is no problem. Next turn I can play the... Oh, by the way, I always forget that you get the Scry 2, which is really relevant here. I want to have the land, I want to have the Theorist. So, I mean, let's draw them both. The looting is good enough. So, what I was saying, next turn I can play, if I want to, the Veil of Assimilation. Give this thing +1/+1 on Vigilance. And then this attacks for 4. That's total of 7 damage. And especially when they don't add anything to the board, unless they have a 1-drop here. Okay, they won't have. So that is quite nice now. Oh, they are gonna go for the aggression. They don't care about taking like a poison damage here. Now this changes things. I don't have to play the whale right now. I can just play a creature. Although, might not be the... It's not like this is gonna be too relevant. This is gonna be a 2-power creature only. But this is still a more expensive card, so let's do this. I'm going to deal now. And yes, I could play the Skull Bomb, but I'm gonna save it for Whale of Assimilation triggers. It's gonna be... It's just a 1-mana card, so it makes sense. Also, I can save it for looting here. I'm a bit surprised about their attack. Why would they deal only 1 damage to me when I can deal 2 to them? Maybe they just didn't want to even consider blocking. They thought that if I have a trick, they're never gonna block with this guy. But I don't know, even if I mean, if I don't have a trick, I'm never gonna I'm never going to, of course, attack into this guy with the 2-1 if I don't have a trick. Alright, so they have this thing. I can bounce this. So when you proliferate twice, okay. Remove 3 counter from permanents. Well, the named permanent types. But I can bounce it when it's indestructible. Problem, of course, is that yeah, there is a problem here, for sure. Because I'm kind of wasting a trigger, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not much I can do about it, because I could have bounced it on this turn. And here you can see I can't put a Malkat or any counters. I could have bounced it this turn, but they could have been... I mean, there was no good attack for me in that case. Well, I could only attack with the Malkator, because... Yeah, I can attack with both of these, but this will be eaten by the synthesizer. So, yeah, I can deal 6, but I lose my Dune Mover here. So this doesn't actually matter now, does it? And I'm even supposed to play this right now, just so that I can attack with the Malkator here. Yeah, it's a bit shame, because they are still at the 9 life. And now they know about the Skull Bomb, so they know I'm gonna bounce a thing. And of course I don't have any triggers. Well, I have the Triorist, but I can't play this and bounce at the same time. Yeah, this... I mean, of course a 4 mana 3/5 flyer is just very good. Regardless. Okay, are they gonna proliferate or take a land here? We'll see. They took a land. A 3rd color. Okay, they are not gonna attack. There's no way they are gonna attack. Would be cool though. Okay, maybe they have a trick of some kind. No, they are not gonna attack. Well, I can make an unblockable guy if I keep drawing some things here. I don't think I'm gonna loot anything right now. Yeah, the 3/5 here, making my Malkator a joke here. Not good. Let's play this. And let's try to make this an unblockable thing. Because of course the opponent isn't really in that great of a position to attack. So... I wonder if I should just leap up a double block on the Vorak here. I could move this equipment on the synthesizer, but I'm not sure that makes... No, I'm not gonna worry about it. I don't want to block with the synthesizer because it's one way for me to actually win here. I can make it into a 3-power unblockable guy. Okay, there's more proliferating for them. If they attack with the Vorak, I can just block with the Dune Mover. Okay, that I'm very happy about. What the heck? I feel I should just take 6 damage now, suddenly. No, then I only lose one of these guys though. Why did they attack? Do they have something for 1 mana? Maybe they do. This is potentially winning the game. Well, let's do this. Fine. Fine. Okay, I'm actually happy that they choose to block the 2-1. I mean, kill the 2-1. Alright, this is... Now this is quite good. I'm gonna loot here. I could have bounced, but that wouldn't have allowed me to, you know, do that Malkator. So now this is great because I can do this. And I will loot here, and okay, I have a flyer coming up too. Don't need the second island. I can attack here now, that's the thing. Yeah. They have to either jump block or take a lot of damage. They don't have enough power to kill either of these. Now they went to 2. Do they have a life gain of some kind? Are they forgetting about the skull bomb? I mean, they were so reckless in that attack on the previous turn. Because now I have anything that has 2 power will be lethal. And I can bounce one of their blockers. Okay, they draw a card. They have 3 mana left, although they have a land drop. I have 4 mana left. 5 cards though, that is scary, but I can bounce their 4 drop. They have to recast it, so they are not in a position to easily play their hand. Mesmerizing dose on that thing. That's actually not something I care about. They get to proliferate. This thing is a 3/3 now, but I mean, who cares? They can't attack now. They have to leave everything to block. It's way too risky to attack now. I mean, they would have to actually jump block with the Blight Belly Rat. Because I can, if they attack with that guy, I can bounce the Gluthal now. Okay. So if I draw a very cheap artifact, I will just win, because then the Ichor Synthesizer will be... I'm just figuring out if I should actually... Yeah, this is better. Because I have a planes in my hand. So let's bounce this thing. Cheap artifact, please. No. No such luck. But I mean, they go to 1 now. They have to jump block with the rat. Yeah, they can proliferate a bit, but who cares? I'm not sure if I want to play this, because I do have this guy. Unless I want to be able to... No, this targets only cards in my graveyard. Yeah, this doesn't hate the opponent's graveyard stuff. So I should keep this around because of the looting, I believe. And now... I mean, it's still possible they can, you know, stabilize here, because of course they need 2 blockers only. But then they can't attack with the synthesizer. I have some time here. Because I can at any point draw an artifact and make the Malcator into an attacker. And what the opponent did, I don't understand. Why would they concede there? I mean, I have 2 attackers. I might not have an artifact. They just played a 3/5 and I don't even have an attack here. So this was a tough one, but the opponent clearly, first of all, attacked way too aggressively. And second of all, conceded when they really shouldn't have done that. Alright, minor misstep, doesn't have many targets. And I would have to see, well, it has 1, but I would have to see multiple 1 mana spells I would actually want to counter it to sideboard that in. Now, something like a Complete Devotion. Is there something bad in here? 2/4 might be, you know, bad stat-wise. I could actually see cutting this thing and have like a trick. For example, the Plated Onslaught here. Although with the number of creatures I have, that's not a lot of creatures. Maybe I should just have the Skull Bomb. Or just a Complete Devotion. Allows me to attack into their stuff a little bit easier. But I guess I don't need a 2/4 in this matchup. Alright. Skull Bomb. I did cut a creature, so I would rather put in a creature as well, but yeah, that's kinda nasty. I don't want to go to too low creature count here. Man. Let's play the trick still. I'll play the trick. It's not the best trick here, but whatever. I guess it can draw a card if I target a Dune Mover. Yeah, let's do this. I still don't get it. Why did they concede there? My 1/3 wasn't unblockable. Maybe they thought that it's unblockable always. Like, hard to believe though. Okay, I'm gonna keep this, of course. I have 3 lands, 2 colors, and a mana curve here. I can go with the synthesizer into Malcator, into Glider. I mean, assuming I not to draw anything better. Yeah, I wouldn't want to play this Skullbomb on turn 1 either. Even, I mean, if I had an untapped land, because I wanna save the trigger. So now I have my splash card. Let's see if that's going to... I mean, if I'm gonna draw the mana for it. Okay, they just go for a cantrip, turn 2, totally fine for me. I have 2 triggers for the synthesizer. Actually I have 3, but I don't count these as long as I don't have the black mana. But the Skullbomb and the Malcator thing will be giving me some oil here. Okay. Now I could just attack into it. Maybe they take 1 damage, but I also can, you know, block their synthesizer. In the end, I wouldn't, you know, care about too much about the fact that if they use a trick to deal with my creature. Alright, so I'm gonna keep both of these. This, of course, is my black mana and triggers. This also is triggers, and I do believe the trick is fine here. So next turn I can play an Atlas into... Well, which is more likely about these spells? Do I want to... Because I can play Atlas into an Ichor Glider. I kind of waste 1 trigger of the Malcator thing, but I'd rather have the Atlas down. So let's draw that thing first. That also gives me the option to play the Atlas and then play this with x equals 1. So okay, that's pretty unlikely to be the play I wanna make. Okay, I get a poison counter. They draw a card. Another 2 mana cantrip. Now that I'm happy to see, because now my board state is superior. Yeah, okay, you can attack. I don't care. Why would they attack with this guy? This makes no sense whatsoever. It just does not. Yeah, I'm gonna sort of waste 1. The trigger of the Malcator. This is my... I have only 1 artifact after that, but it's still nice to have the flyer here. And I can play the Enforcer, which will be a 4/4 Vigilance. Okay, they have a Vorak, but this is actually close to, you know... If I really want to, I can already make this into an unblockable guy by playing the Skullbomb and the Complete Devotion on the next turn, but that's probably unnecessary. So, just play the Enforcer now. Attack for 1 in the air. I do have 5 mana. Oh yeah, I can... let me see. Yeah, I can blow them out with the Devotion. I can make this into a 6/6. So yeah, of course I don't have to play the Enforcer yet. I'll just play this thing to make the... Because I kind of forgot first that I have the Atlas here. Which, you know... Which, of course, will give me the 4th mana for the Enforcer. Now, I could attack with the Synthesizer as well. Yeah, I can use the Black Sun's Twilight in that case, if they double block the Synthesizer. This becomes a 3/3, I kill the 3/3, and then this dies to... Yeah, let's do it. Well, they did the correct block, of course, but now I have the option to use the Devotion here. Yeah, I'm gonna do that, of course. I somehow thought they would be double blocking my guy, but why would they? Anyway, this was still a fine trade, because now I have this 3/3 unblockable. They basically have to kill it. They are in no position to actually outrace me here, so they have to use some kind of removal on the Synthesizer. And well, I don't have a trigger for the Malcator yet, but I have a lot of artifacts in the deck, so I'm not too worried. Plus the 1 power flyer does its thing little by little. Now they need to use a Okay, they can bounce that. Well, they bounce that. That's a good card for sure. Now they can attack with the 1-3. Now it's not a foolish attack. Okay, that is another eye. That's pretty good. So I can just... Oh, first I should play this because I want to get the oil too. I keep forgetting that I have 5 mana actually because of the Atlas. And I get to scry too. That is nice. And how do I scry here? The land actually allows me to play this with x equals 5, but I don't have anything in my graveyard yet. I mean anything that is a creature. The Helm is a Malcator trigger now with 2 Malcators. I'm obviously gonna do that. But yeah, I don't need the planes. And attack for 5. Next turn I have 2 4/4 attackers. And if they don't jump block, they go down to 5, and the Incisor Glider will also start to be pretty much of a problem. I can give -4, -4. I don't have to play this with x equals 5 or more. Okay, this is... Yeah, that's quite slow. But it's a flying blocker, so it's not so bad. But of course they have to... Let's see. Let's see here. Well, I'm playing for sure the Helm here. That's just gonna happen. I have 2 4/4s. Now they have to of course make some blocks here, and I have still -1/-1 coming up. I can alternatively just move the equipment. But if I attack with everything, they can take 1 eye. Then they have to block all the other guys, so they can't actually even make any kind of triple block here. They can make a double block on the glider or the synthesizer, but then they will still die. Yeah, this is just very simple. They cannot... They have to block 3 of my guys, so they can only jump block. Yeah, and they can't even take 1 4/4. No, actually they can, but they would have to jump block one of the Malcators. Then they block the glider and block the synthesizer. They go to 1, lose this synthesizer. I still have my bounce spell here. Okay, well, this showed how the Eye of Malcator, works. It can be quite nice, but of course the opponent didn't really have any kind of an aggression whatsoever, so I had the time to play these 3 mana things that don't block in any way, but you can start attacking with them, and with this deck quite reliably, so it is strong in here. I just don't get it. Why did they concede the game 1 there? They shouldn't have. I kind of want to test the 5 mana vehicles I have. This is fine. It's a 2-drop, 3-drop. I have all the colors, opponent mulligans. I'm not going to go to 6 here. I might be flooding out a little bit, but at least I have the one thing that allows me to loot. Okay, they start with the 1-drop. Well, now I have the double white for the 5-drop too. But let's see, they start with... Okay. Oh, that's a nice one. So I definitely play the Justiciar over the synthesizer. So they didn't go with 1-drop, 2-drop. Okay, they might have a burn spell or a pump spell. Now they have a slash there. Oh well. But they did mulligan and they were on the play. They played a 1 mana 1 power creature. I wonder if I should... I'm definitely playing the synthesizer. No, I'm gonna do it like that. I'm gonna play the Chrome Plotter now. Next turn I can play the synthesizer and the assimilation veil thing to make this into a 4/3 attacker. And I can tap down some of their blockers too. If they have one. Well, this has vigilance, so at least this will be there. I'm not gonna tap down it. I'll take the 1 damage. I'd rather tap down something. They might have like a 4-drop here. Okay, they did not. So it's fine. Maybe they have another removal spell, so I don't have any aggression yet. But then again, they have a 1 power creature. That's all they have. Oh, I got finally the Strider that I wanted to have here. So let's play this first, of course, because I do want to pick the oil counter when I play the whale here. Yep. Okay, they do have the removal, but again, I'm in a fine shape. This will give an oil counter to the synthesizer. They have just a 2-3 there. Okay, that's a nice one, but I don't think I need it. Yeah, let's play the 5 mana card now. I don't know if I want to. I kind of waste the, waste the trigger here because I'm tapped out. They'll just block with the 2-4. But yeah, I mean the thing about this Strider is that I have the threat of activation, so I don't have to use the oil counter. They can't basically attack with the aspirant unless they have a trick, because I threaten to double block it. It has menace, so I would have to double block it. This gives me the 3rd counter on the synthesizer. Okay. It gives me also. Yeah, so how aggressive do I want to get here? Because I could use the 1 oil counter here, and that's all it has. And then I could attack it with it being a 6-6. Well, I'm gonna play this regardless. That's just going to happen. And of course, well, I kind of lost my. I mean, I should have crewed it before, but I don't think I wanted to crew it. It's just sad that I still don't have an attack. Unless I'm gonna main phase tap this down, it's not worth dealing just 2. So let's just do that. And at least I can draw a card with this Surgical Bay, and I'm not really facing any lethal attack yet. That's a 3-1. They can make the flyer hit now for 2 in the air though. Not sure if I'm gonna immobilize it. Don't know if I want to do that. I have a limited amount of this tapping ability here, so I'm not going to do it right now. They can attack me down to 13, and then I want to see what I draw. Oh, in the draw step, and then maybe with this thing if I don't draw anything relevant. Now is my chance to tap down the 3-1, but I just don't think it's worth it right now. Let's wait for a bit. Okay, well that's very easy decision to just draw something. Well, I can't cast that, but it will on the next turn give me the 4th counter on this thing, and yeah, I'm gonna play it safe for now. And now I believe I'm gonna tap down the Lookout maybe now. Yeah, let's save a bit. Preserve our life total a little bit here. If they double block the Strider, I don't care. That's totally fine because they lose both of those guys. So what I'm doing now is, of course, this will be a, I mean, I can also crew it, but I'm gonna use the oil counter. But I'm actually going to give this a +6, +1/+1. So that means they can't even double block. They would have to jump block it. Yeah. That is fine. So I can attack for 9 damage unless they jump block. I could have given this Vigilance too, but I like this better. I have another Strider still able to block if I need. blocker, but of course with the immobilizer I'm not too concerned. War whip. Okay, they can equip something, but this immobilizer is of course very good against the equipment. I might actually let them attack with the lookout this time. I'm gonna tap down something else at the end of the turn, because they of course can't keep taking damage now that I have the 3/3 unblockable and a couple of 5/5s here. So let them attack. The fact this thing has vigilance is actually quite relevant now. They can... Oh, they're gonna go for the... Oh, I fear now they have the +2... Yeah, they have the mass pump effect now, probably. It's not gonna win them the game now, but I have to be playing around it, don't I? Yeah, this can be nasty now. Let's tap down this guy and hope to draw a non-land. That's not what happened there. So, problem is, of course, that... Can I even play around the +2/+1? I guess as long as I tap down a double striker, then I need to block one more guy. Yeah, because I'm at 9. So let's say if they connect with 2 guys and give +2/+1 to both of them, that should be only 8 damage, because this is 1 power. Even if they move the Batterfish to someone else, all I need to do is tap down the double striker and then have 1 blocker up. So the question is, am I going to attack for 3, or am I gonna crew the Strider here? I think I need to have this guy. They might just go for a jump block, but you know what, I'm gonna actually crew this. It's a bit sad that I drew just another land, because I think with any creature I would be in a much better shape, but whatever. Let's see if they go down to 6, or okay, they make a jump block. That makes of course any kind of mass pump effect quite much worse. I have a looter thing, so I'm not going to play these lands now. I'm gonna run out of these oil counters here, but that's just what it is. Man, the vigilance on the lookout is quite nice for them. Yeah, I'm a bit flooded here. I would need some spells here. Because of course these striders aren't that great when you have only 1 creature that can crew them. Okay, they played their land at least. So they have at most 1 spell in hand. They have to realize that I'm just gonna tap down the double striker pre-combat. I have to go to 7, of course. And then let's see if they have a spell to play. Seems like they do. I need to draw a non-land now, because I don't think I have enough of a board to win with the drawing just lands. I have 1 more tap left here. Okay. They can move. They can't move this because it costs 5 to equip anything else than the aspirant itself. They played a land already, so they can move the Batterfist on the 2/2. That's the only kind of relevant thing they can do. They are really thinking about it. Okay, they did not. Come on, no lands. Okay, that is going to be decent for a couple of reasons. First of all, I can use this to crew this guy. I will leave. I don't think I have a win. No, because I would need to be able to tap down both of these. So I'm gonna save the last immobilizer counter to tap down the double striker on the next turn. So Veil of Assimilation. That also keeps vigilance, which is nice for the synthesizer. I could attack for 4 unblocked. Then I guess I can force them to jump block the Strider here. Because I could attack for 9. I think they are not gonna take 9 because this would be lethal attack on the next turn. The other option being, I'm actually going to do it like that. This is gonna pump the synthesizer. And, I of course couldn't pump this because the creature isn't on the battlefield once I have to select a target for this thing. Yeah, sure. Anyway, I'm gonna remove an oil counter here. It's time to get aggressive. They have to make the jump block there. They're down to 7. And moving around equipment it's not necessary. So now if they're gonna attack with the aspirant, I can't just block it. I don't have to tap down the aspirant if they wanna attack with it. They might have, of course, any kind of trick. So if this gets like +3/+1, it's gonna deal 10 damage. Now that is a question. If I take 10 there, well, I guess they can. Alright, I'll let them attack with it. Because I'm gonna crew one of the Striders with the 3/3, then gonna double block with the Helm guy and the 5/5. Yeah, not much really. I might lose both of my guys when they have a trick now. This won't even die actually if they have a trick. Yeah, well, it's gonna be indestructible regardless. Okay. And they get exactly enough to, do that. But I can, if I draw a spell, that can still help me. I still have the immobilizer here. I don't care about losing the Strider here, of course, because 2 is too much here anyway. I'm sad about losing the token, of course. Come on, no lands. Well. There is something. Skull Bomb. So I can almost win here. Because I can make this into 5/5 before playing this. Okay, if I draw an artifact, this is a victory. Yep. Let's try. Let's try it. Yeah, this is fine. And then I will bounce a guy, which should be maybe the flyer. They have enough mana to recast either of these. I'll just tap down the other guy anyway. This way, if I bounce the flyer, I don't have to tap it down. Because of course it can block the Strider here. So let's do this. Artifact, please. No. But this is gonna be a lethal attacker on the next turn. So there is that. I can play the land here, move this around here. I can tap down their attacker. And then they have to find an answer for the synthesizer. That's what they have to do. If they do though, I think I'm dead. I can't deal the 1 damage because they can have a blocker for the Strider. I have to regardless use my final immobilizer counter. right now. So it's all about the synthesizer now. They have 2 unknowns in the hand. Oh, they had an answer for it. A shame, a shame, a shame. Now I will lose. I don't think there's any top deck I can have here. But yeah, I was a little bit flooded here. I have here a creature. Okay, I guess Okay, I have 1 top deck. It's the black rare. Oh, they played very safe. They are gonna have even... No, that's no longer gonna help. And I just drew a land. Whatever. That was so close. They went down to 1. I think if I just didn't draw that many lands in the middle stages on the game, I would have... I mean, that would have allowed me to deal some additional point of damage at some point there. But I had too many turns when I couldn't do anything. And drawing 2 Mildweb Striders and then just lands, of course, very bad combination. So I believe I was a little bit unlucky there. I wonder if I would have tapped down the Blade Hold Whip guy on the turn when they used this. Would that have helped? I'm not sure. Anyway, not gonna worry about that now. Complete Devotion. Skull Bomb. I think I like this build against what I'm seeing here now. It's so sad that they had the answer because, well, of course there are many common answers for it, so they happen to have an uncommon one too. Yeah, based on what I see here, I don't think there's like any reason to have anything. Maybe the Complete Devotion could be a thing, but I don't know really if I want to cut anything. No, let's just do with this. Let's draw a little bit more creatures. I know I don't have a lot of creatures, but I still drew very low amount of creatures in that game, and I drew a lot of cards, so I should have had something. Alright, this is now. It is fine. I don't have anything after turn 3, but okay, now I do. So this is... Now I have an actual curve out with this thing into Malk. Okay, they have the Hex Gold Slash, now I know about it. But of course, it can only deal 2 damage to my creatures. So, no reason to play the Malcator yet, because it's not gonna be anything like an unblockable. Land was good, because I do have the Strider here. Skull Bomb is gonna both give this thing a counter and of course trigger this thing. Yeah, I take the Swamp, but I don't need the place. I know I have 1 double white card in the deck, but I'm not gonna need a 6th land here. Definitely with the Twilight in my hand, I should keep the Swamp on the top of the deck. So now I can play the Skull Bomb and bounce this thing. Bouncing that thing isn't really that useful. Oh, they chose to do that. I could, you know... If I attack, they won't be blocking. Maybe they are attacking and then I can use the Twilight to kill it. Next turn I can... I'm going to leave mana up for the Twilight, I believe. There's not really much point in bouncing this guy, is there? I guess I can still do it. Then I have the Malcator up. I can kill it later on and force them to use... Okay, fine. Let's do it. Now this gets another counter, which means that they are actually quite likely to use the Sentry on... They're quite likely to use the Sentry on the synthesizer, which is a bit sad, but I get to scry 2 here. Yeah, bye-bye, I have the second white there. So at least that scry 2 was immediately very, impactful there. And I still have a lot of, non-creatures here. Okay, and they insist dealing with that. Sure. So... Still drew the land though. Well, let's play the Strider, I guess. Why not? I know I could kill this guy and get the Malcator thing back, but... I mean, I guess I could given that I don't have anything in my graveyard to return. And they are tapped out, so this is safe kill now. I get another, Scry too. Yeah. It's fine. This is now close to unblockable. Scry 2, very nice. Yep, I'll keep the whale. Spirant. I know they have a Hex Gold Slash here. So, I mean, if they use that and this guy to... it would be 2 for 1 for me, so definitely worth letting that happen. I'm not sure if I want to... Yeah, let's just do this. So they would have to take 7 here, facing the unblockable guy. Yeah, I don't mind if they block and use the slash, which I know they're having. Okay, they have some other means to deal with the situation, because of course I have a massive amount of power. This is a 4-4, this is a 5-5, this is a 3-3. Of course I have to tap this to make this into a guy, unless I want to use the oil counter. War Whip. That's still, quite small creatures. They are not gonna attack with the Aspirant. It has menace, I couldn't block with the Strider here. Alright, so again I draw a little bit of lands, but at least I have more action. More action here now. So Whale of Assimilation. So if I make this into a 5-5, I can then make it into a 6-6 with the Whale. So they can't... Okay, actually the 5-5 is enough here regardless. It doesn't matter if it's a 6-6 or a 5-5. I can still kill 2 of these blockers. And they can still kill it even if it's a 6-6, if they just put the double striker on one of these. So I don't have to worry about it. Well, that's easy then. I'm going to play this. Make this guy into 4-4 unblockable, and then I'm gonna use the oil here, of course. I could keep this, make this into a 5-5 actually. Is that worth it? They go to 6 regardless. I could make them go to 5, but... they can double block the... Man, because if I make this into 5-5, then they can't... Double blocking with these guys doesn't help. And then if they use this and something else... Okay, fine. Fine. Let's do it. This is how I should do. Now it's not an easy block for them. They have to lose something. And they have to lose 2 things if they don't want to just jump block. And this will be a 2-turn clock from now on onwards. Okay, they do jump blocks. Okay, are they gonna... Okay. Don't know what they're gonna have there, but I guess... Because only... maybe if they have a removal on this thing, I should play the land so I can actually use the surgical thing. Okay, so they first of all just need to remove this guy. It's a 2-turn clock. And then this is still something I can crew if I just keep drawing some of the creatures. Well, they have 4 lands, so that means they have a lot of... Sure, not even point crewing that guy. So there's the removal. Now, because they are having only 4 lands and I have these much lands. Okay, now this is exactly what I needed here. Exactly. Finally. Now again, wait a minute, this target, no, I can't make this into a 6-6 or 7-7 now. I don't quite have the mana for it, because I have to play this, and even though Oh, I'm actually... No, this is not... Oh, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I can, of course. I put it stop here because I need to respond to my own ability. Yes, I will win now. Just had to make sure. Because this enters the battlefield and now trigger goes to stack. And at this point I can crew this guy. And now I get 2 artifacts. And I can target the Strider here. Make it into a 7/7. Oh, come on. That is a 1 mana spell when they have 2 equipment. Now the good news is still here that I have this flyer. And also these ground guys. But man, I was sure I'm gonna win here. And I have the immobilizer here too. That is insane. They had this 1 mana deal 5. Yeah, that works. That works. But their deck is, you know, all this removal. It's a really good deck. They have these. Yeah, I mean, it's a great deck they have. But I thought I'm gonna win that game, which I still can do. But they still have 5 spells in their hand. No, or at least 4 if they just drew a land. So there's no guarantee that I'm winning this game if they have another removal on the Shepherd. And I'm pretty sure they do have the... Okay, that gives a blocker, but... are they gonna attack at all? No. Well, let's see what I draw here. Okay, so... I'm one damage short. If I drew an artifact here, because I can play this and tap down the Rabble here. I'm not even sure if that is needed here. Will they go to 1? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I am going to do it. This guy gets that thing, and then I'm going to tap down this, so they have to block with the... Yeah, they go now to exactly 1, so I'm assuming they kill the Shepherd somehow, but they have to also have some other play available, and I'm losing my time here, because of course this is enough to kill them, and I have a tapping on one of their blockers, so they need a blocker and a kill spell, unless they have life gain. So let's see if they can survive this thing. Yeah, that's only... Are they gonna have double slash there? Alright, opponent. That's insane. Oh man, they had 2 of them. Well, let's see if they have more removal. Let's see if they have more removal. This 1/1 flyer will be enough. Yeah, okay. So another piece of... I don't know how ever I'm gonna win a game 3 here. Well, I won this game after all, but man. Look at this. Salvo, / volt charge, and sentry, and then, you know, good cards. I guess this is not so good, but it is good in the equipment deck. It you know, synergizes enough with the other cards. So with the amount of removal they have, I think the burn-based removal makes me just play the complete devotion here. This is gonna be bad because I won't have creatures. So this needs to you know. That thing needs a lot of creatures. I'm almost tempted to have the counter 1 mana spell, or it's 1 or 0 mana actually, because it's 1 or fewer mana value. But if I saw a third 1 mana card, did I see a 1 mana card? That's not a Hex Gold Slash. It's so tempting, but I don't think I can really play the minor misstep here. But yeah, I'm gonna play the complete devotion for sure. And anything else? I have to cut. Maybe I will cut a land here. I'm actually gonna do that. Because they have so much removal that the game can go quite late. I can afford to cut a land on the draw, I mean. Any other stuff? No, this is fine. I don't think the Sheoldred's Edict is gonna be that great. Not really. I mean, I guess it can do some work, but I would have to cut something else. What would be the cut? I do like my Skull Bomb enough to play it. I like the Augury. I have some Proliferate synergy here after all. Fine, let's just do this. Okay. So I don't expect to be winning this match, because the card quality in their deck is just so good. Well, I guess this is a playable starting hand. They mulligan. Okay, I guess if they mulligan into a... Oh, they go to 5. Well, I have a chance now. I don't have planes, but then again, I have only blue spells here. I can play the Synthesizer into Malkator, into, you know, artifacts. Actually, this is, as far as a starting hand that has only one sort of basic land available in a 2-color deck, this is a very decent one. So they went to 5 cards. Didn't they? Okay. Now I even got this guy. It is worth playing the Justiciar right now. Although I kinda like the idea of... Because this could attack as a 3-2 on the next turn, that's the thing. But also I wanna play this so that I can start picking the oil counters there. It is a tough question. But I believe I'm gonna go with this. 1-3. And they seem to have a Hex gold slash whatever it is, so they would have been able to kill this. Now they weren't able to kill it, so there is that. That's a win for me. Okay, they are missing land drops, but that's actually what you want to usually have when you have mulligan to 5. You don't want to flood out. Now, there's no point in any kind of an attack. I get to Scry 2. It's a really good effect on this thing. The Scry 2 helps a lot. So I will keep a black mana source. I won't need any other lands. Enforcer can be quite nice here. Meltweb Strider. Yeah, I'm going to keep all that. I don't have the 5th land, but you know, I have other spells to cast until I find it. Okay, they killed the Malkator now, I'm pretty sure of that. But that's fine, because I can have my 4-drop here after all. And now I could attack here. It's actually a fairly safe thing to do, because they are not gonna have a haster, and if they are having a haster, I can block it with a 2-4. So let's just attack now. That's 1 free damage there. I have no artifacts now, so this won't be a 2-4. Oh, sorry, a 4-4 on the next turn. Well, actually, it might, because I can play the Justiciar and the Experiment. Ah, yeah, okay, that is nice. And this won't be able to be... Well, they can have the 5 damage burn spell, of course. But yeah, I should just play these things, right? This is Vigilance, you know. They don't have a good block on it. And I'm sure they're gonna kill the Justiciar, because they will have the burn spell there available. But as long as I have my 4-4, yeah, they need to deal 5 damage to a creature, because the white uncommon, the 1-4, that only the kind of Banisher Priest effect, that only exiles creatures with mana value 3 or less. This is 4 mana. But they do have the red uncommon that deals 5. So that's the answer on the Enforcer. Okay, Whale is very nice. I believe the Justiciar is about to die. But let's just play the Whale here anyway and see if they are going to... So this is gonna be a 3-2. I can make the Experiment into a bigger one. Yeah, let's spread the pump effects, because this Justiciar, I can't believe it, you know, surviving here. Or they might have some pump spells too, but I mean, I have to just wear them out. This can give minus a lot to, I guess, the Aspirant. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's -3, -0. And now there's the slash, which I knew they are gonna have. And then that's gonna be a -2, -0. And that's 7 damage they are facing, unless they have a way to... They do have a way to deal with that pump spell. Okay, that's totally fine. I mean, that was just a 2-1 artifact. Now that was so far my second artifact, but I have 2 artifacts in my hand and they have a Dragon Wing Glider, so that makes things a little bit harder. Now this is a fine one. And I can tap it once, so it's not totally horrible yet. Okay, let's play this. Let's gonna make this into a 4-4 and it's gonna... I mean... There's no point giving a +1/+1 here. Because they can just block with the Aspirant, so, I mean... Then I'll just... Yeah, I'll just do this. Yes, let's loot. I mean, as much as I like the Twilight, I don't think I have time to find the black mana here. I can play the tapped land this turn to give me the Strider possibility. Oh, they are actually not... Okay, that's interesting. I will take 5 in the air though, so I can just lose on the next turn if I... Yeah, I don't think I have mana to... time to use the Strider because it's way too risky to not... Yeah, it's way too risky to not use the Chrome Prowler. I mean, if they have like one way to deal damage... Man, this Dragon Wing Glider... Did they have to have such a strong card? And they were able to play it at 4 mana thanks to the Aspirant. So... I do believe... I have to... just use this defensively. It's what has to happen, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna take 5 in the air and then die to any pumps or burn spell. Let's see how they're gonna deal with that. Of course they had a Rebel Salvo, because why they wouldn't? So this is gonna allow me to loot, so maybe I should keep the planes in my hand. Although I believe now I have to, in fact, do the risky play, right? I mean, after this Rebel Salvo, tapping this down isn't going to be that great, because I don't have a lethal attack on the next turn. This has to be blocked with 2, but I will have blockers for that. Yeah, I think this is how we're gonna need to do it now. So, I mean, they have 1 card now in the hand. So they have to either have yet another thing, or they have to, you know, draw a thing that allows them to win right on this turn. I mean, of course, it's nice for them to draw 4 lands and all spells after mulling into 5. And 1 of the bomb race too, so... I believe I was so close to winning here. I mean, I might not lose yet, but it's now all about... If they have the burn spell, like 3 damage to me, could still happen. There was no pump spell at least. But I mean, both game 1 and game 3 are so close. I'm so close to winning. They exiled that thing, which they, you know, can do. Now I won't have enough. I guess there is... No. There is no... I mean, damn, they had the interaction there. Sadly, this lookout is gonna be lethal, so tapping down the 4/4 is not going to be enough. Yeah, the vanish into eternity. That was nice. Okay, well, I had nothing here. So I can loot once. I can tap down this guy. But I don't have another Chrome Plouder in the deck. Let's still do it. I mean, this is my only chance. Yeah, I mean, the amount of interaction they had, this was just super annoying. Let's give this guy. I don't think there's anything I can draw here. I don't think the vanish would have. I mean, let's say I had my 5/5 thing. Yeah, I think even if they didn't have the vanish, it didn't matter because I can tap down this and yeah, I can crew the 5/5. I guess with the oil counter even. But they can jump it and then this was. So basically, what I needed to do is that they don't have the vanish, and then I drew another non-creature spell, either with the loot or on my turn, to make this into a 4/4, basically. Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, I had ways to win, but they had exactly what they needed. And I guess this does stop my win streak. I had like a 10-match win streak or something like that. I think it was 3-3-0s, and then I won the first match in this event. So that was at least a 10-match win streak I had in best of 3 drafts now. Let's go to the final match of this event. But yeah, the opponent's deck was amazing, and the only reason I had some chance in the third game is that they did mulligan to 5. Now let's see. Oh, that's horrible. Let's keep this hand. And okay, the synthesizers, they have impressed me, but looking at this curve, the Justiciar will be a better start. Hopefully this opponent doesn't have multiple shocks. Maybe I can, because I can attack for 3 damage lifelink on the turn 3 thanks to the Malcator. So I'm gonna just get rid of that. This is a good curve. This allows me to scry for 2. Okay, they had a skull bomb. Well, there's another synthesizer there. I'm still gonna... I don't know though. This is also another trigger for the Malcator. Fine, let's do this now. Because I do like to get these counters. Okay. Mountain. Battle Fist. Sure. Well, I guess I will be blocking this thing now. Scrying. I do keep the island. I kind of want to keep the Strider too. I have enough, other spells to play to find the 5th land. Yeah. So of course I'm gonna just block this guy now. They might drop a planes and make it fly. I wouldn't care about it too much. If they use the turn 3 to deal 5 damage, it's acceptable. The Skull Bomb is just a sorcery speed activation, so they cannot use it as a combat trick. And now I can start. They have a Justiciar of their own. I know what I'm drawing, so I don't actually care about the loot right now. I mean, I can just steal blade. It's going to be able to block this thing. Yeah, I'm gonna play it because it's the most efficient use of mana. It can block this unless they give it enough bounce effect. So draw and discard. I mean, I guess I could like discard the Justiciar. But I like to have it. Yeah, I'm gonna decline. I like the Justiciar here. Okay, so they have a Hex Cold Slash, but I don't really mind if they use that and the Justiciar to deal with it. That's a win in my book. So now... no point playing the Immobilizer quite yet. I'd rather play a creature out. Okay, that has First Strike and Trample on their turn. Curse. Okay. Let's play this thing and see what I draw. I guess I won't be attacking much. Well, that's actually interesting. because I could see actually discarding the immobilizer, but it is quite good. So let's just get rid of the land. Because I like the land that it gives me the Strider and it also lets me cast it in for a card later on. But I believe the immobilizer is just... although it's not... I mean, they're at 22. It's only gonna work 4 times. I don't think... Okay, you know what? I'm gonna discard it because that thing does allow me to... I mean, this is just a... I mean, if I was in a position to raise or something, it would be a different story. But I'm not. So this is just a temporary thing. It's a very strong one, that. Okay, let them use their Phyrexia. I don't need the 2 for that much. I'd rather make them spend their stuff. Alright. That is gonna let the first track deal it. I'm gonna actually return, but put something on the bottom of my library. I don't think I have a way to shuffle it, but the opponent doesn't know it. Let's take the immobilizer to the bottom of the deck. So, well, there's the Strider now. I would have wanted to loot that one away. I mean, there's the land, I mean. So, let's attack for 3 lifelink. Another red-white deck that, you know, draws 3 lands and all spells. That's kind of annoying. Well, there's a 4th land, but still. Am I gonna use my only oil counter here just to block the Chorus to attack with that? I guess I would be blocking the Halberd token. Well, let's see if they're gonna even attack. I think I'm gonna let them deal 1 with the Chorus. I'm not gonna care about the toxic stuff. Okay, threat of activation was enough here. Well, another of these guys. Sure. Well. Do I want to attack with 3 lifelink or with 5 vigilance? No matter what, I'm gonna do this. But I could crew now this without using the oil counter. They might double block, which I don't think care about it. Chorus and that. No, let's attack with the lifelink now. The double block for them is still quite useful. Don't mind about that. I lost my looter, so I guess I can play my lands now. Because I will crack these, so I better have my lands on the battlefield. So they do have 2 creatures now. They can make that into a 4-2. They can make it into 5-1. So now, you know, I could activate both of these to kill it, but it's still a trade, so no. Okay, let's draw lands again. Dune Mover. Now, I do have the 1 black spell in the deck, but man, this is at its worst when you are, you know, having enough lands, but a splash that. I mean, if I had the black spell in my hand, I would use it, but there's no point doing it right now. Problem is, though, this is not good enough to crew these things. And they have a good jump block. I'm not gonna even waste my oil counter yet. Decline this. Yeah, this is... I mean, the Striders... Why do I always draw both of them? Because this deck, of course, doesn't have a lot of creatures. And I'm also playing against opponents who remove my creatures, the few I have. So, these are, of course, not very strong in these kind of decks. Well, I mean, drawing 2 of them is just unlucky. 1 is better. They still have the Skull Bomb here. I'm gonna lose to this stuff because I have no way to apply pressure to them. This is really miserable now. But this deck isn't really that strong, you know. But it doesn't help that opponents keep drawing only gas after hitting a few lands. Okay, so Whale of Assimilation can be now used here to some advantage here, because now I can crew this with a regular way. I mean, I guess I could attack for 3. It has Vigilance, so it could still be blocking. Okay, I actually think that might be what I want to do. They might, you know, trade with it, but yeah, I think I'm dead here, because the problem is that they have these full shock splitters, which, you know, they can have a, what, 7 power first strike trampler. That is bad. And they have the time to move this equipment because I have nothing going on for myself. At least the opponent is now drawing land, so I can't complain about that anymore. But the damage has already happened. They have way better board than me. I mean, way better. So if I kill, this is just a 2/2 token, so they can just move it to all this stuff to the next one. So it's not worth using both of these oil counters. Can I get my one proliferate card like once? Because I haven't been able to do anything with these things. They have been having, you know, the threat of activation, which may be a little bit, you know, make the opponent think their attacks, but think about their attacks. But this is totally just, I mean, what can I do here with these draws? I'm just, you know, done here. There's no way for me to progress this game in any way. I have these Striders lands and my creatures got killed. I mean, maybe I should actually cut one of these now, because I'm again playing against an opponent that has, well, I guess only 2 removal spells that I saw. But I'm gonna still cut one of the Striders and play the Complete Devotion. It's good against the burn-based removal. This is too expensive. Even if I have 3 other artifacts, it's gonna cost 3 to draw a card. It's not good. Okay, I'm just, you know, that's it. Let's hope better luck in the next game. That was a really, you know, weird thing, because my 5-drops didn't do anything. They were the worst cards there. Yep. I even have the Swamp for the Twilight. And I can now make this into a 2 oil counter thing quite fast with the Augury. This keys the 3rd one, and then I need only 1 non-creature spell. Again a 1-drop. It's a 1-drop format, of course, but no, they had no such thing. Can I draw something that affects the board right now, or do I have to just go with the Augury now? Wonder what the 1 mana card is that they are not playing. Like, it could be a Spellbomb, but okay, I drew a creature. That's going to be good enough. There's no real point using the Augury now. Okay, opponent. What are you doing with the 1 mana spell? Hexgold Slash. It will kill the experiment, but there's no point for them to do anything right now. And there we go. This is not a really good, very good card, so I'm not too concerned about it. I can play this with x equals 0. Don't think I'm gonna go for that. Okay, there's that. Skullbomb, well, that's actually just good enough here. Buy some time, give a counter to this guy, bounce that, draw a card. And now there's a Troller Drake, which, you know, could have been good in the previous game, for instance. Although I wouldn't have beaten the opponent. They had too much time to do their things. But now this Augury will be quite nice. I can actually play the Drake and the Augury, giving both of these 2 more oil counters. Hopefully they don't have the 3-point burn spell, but I mean, if they do, then they do. Okay, that's a Basilica Skull Bomb. Immobilizer. Alright, alright. I mean, I can't block this guy. I'm not gonna double block with the Drake either, so I should actually just attack. Maybe they will take 1. They are rather using a... making me use a trick. Now there's another play. No, there isn't. I can't play this with x equals 2. So let's do this and immediately do this, because I want to at least make this, you know, dodge the Hex Gold Slash. So yeah. Get to keep 1 of these, the rest go to bottom of library. Shepherd, probably the best one here. Now, do they have the deal 3 damage to a creature proliferate thing? I guess I have 2 targets they need to deal with. So they would need to have 2 removal spells. Both of these will... Okay, well, there's a new kind of removal spell I haven't seen. So I would say that these matches 2 and 3 are pretty nasty. Opponents have way too much interaction. But the Black Sun's Twilight, it will return something, but sadly they were able to exile the Troller Drake. I'm never getting that guy back. But I guess I'm going to get a Shepherd back, or something like that. A Veil of Assimilation. I have to take 6 here, which is not nice, but... Although I could play the Whale, and then the Shepherd is gonna give me 2 nice pump effects there. And if I really want to, I might even... Because this will be an unblockable one. And I have the Black Sun's Twilight up. Okay. I think that's what I'm gonna do then. Let's see them have... I mean, if they actually have yet another removal spell that deals with this thing, I don't know what to say at that point. I mean, they had the Ossification for the Troller Drake, which would be now a 4/4. And now if they have removal on the Synthesizer, I just... I mean, if all my creatures get killed, that's it. There's nothing else to do here. Now... I actually could kill this guy. Try to kill it, but I'm gonna take 6 now. I'm gonna take 6 now because they might have a trick, and I can block with the Shepherd if I get a 6th land, especially then. Then I can get it back with the Black Sun's Twilight when I block with it. Okay, so I am going to be in trouble now. Just stick. Ah, God. That's too much. That's too much from the opponent. They have played, you know, such efficient stuff here. They had the Ossification and the Splitter. Now they had a 3/2 flyer and a 2/1 lifelinker of all things. Because I think I have to kill the lifelinker. That's the only... Because if they have the lifelinker up, I'm not ever gonna be able to raise them. But then again... I will never have time to play the Black Sun's Twilight. It will also bring the creature back tapped. I would have to draw 1 more land. I have to use the mana on this turn. I cannot beat this stuff. I would really want to... I mean, this is the least impactful card, but it has lifelink. They can make it fly. Yeah. Ooh, this is just such a sad little game. There's the Strider, which is, you know, not that bad now. I can block a thing there. I do have spells now myself. This will deal 5 this turn if I play the Shepherd. I guess, yeah, I like the 1/1s because they are attackers here. I'm not hopefully dying right away. They're gonna go to 9. And I have, this is gonna be a 4/4 on the next turn. I'm not gonna take 12 here. And I'm definitely making some blocks here, but let's see if they're gonna use the Basilica Skull Bomb here. The Immobilizer will be good if I have the time to use it. Yeah, they use that now, so that's just gonna be 4 in the air. So this is... yeah, block in there, I guess. Take 7, that's horrible. I mean, I could just kill both of these two. I mean, it's not an impossible thing. I mean, it's so sad to lose my unblockable guy, but I can attack with these guys. So I can go just to 8 and make them lose these, unless they have, you know, a pump spell, but these things deal some damage with them. So let's see. If I just block the 5/2, I go to 5. That's very close to me dying. Because they can equip these, remember. You know what? I'm gonna go for this. Whatever. Okay, no combat tricks. Because I can attack with these guys, they get some pumps here. And now I hope they don't have anything to play. Hope they just equip. But I would have been very much wrong. But I have the Immobilizer here. So that will help me a little bit. Can I afford to play the Strider though? And the problem is, I cannot. Because they can move all these stuff. I mean, the equipped creatures will always have +1/+, so this will be a 5 power menace. And blocking this guy doesn't make any sense because they can equip, they can make it fly. Well, how great is that? This is the only way I have here. Man, this... But it's just a matter of them having just 2 efficient plays compared to my plays. I would really love if they block there. There's no way they're gonna block there. So now I have to use the Immobilizer here, and I don't have the Strider, which would be really good, but if I played this now I would just lose. Because this has menace and this would have flying, and that's enough damage if I don't tap down anything. They had two turns when they double spelled, and that was enough for me to be in trouble here. And the sad thing is I'm still gonna lose on the... Oh, what the heck? What is this? Why is this happening here? Why is this happening here? I mean, what is this card blowing up my board here? I guess this was a fitting end to the event. I was just outclassed here. I take 8 here now. I mean, it is a good sideboard card against my deck, but this is a rare. I never expected to face this thing. Yeah, the red-white matchups were really horrible. But at least, you know, I drafted something else. I could have tried to draft a winning deck by picking the white flyers in my first 3 packs. I think what I would say about this deck that I really like the Malcator. I don't like the Strider in this color combination, mostly because my creatures are not that good at crewing them, and you really need to be able to crew these, not with just the oil. And I have only one card that proliferates these oil counters. I thought that it's enough that I have this as a 5/5 a threat of blocking. The idea is that I had some flyers here and the Malcators that can beat the offensive creatures in the deck. Well, I have only actually one flyer, but the other unblockables are the synthesizers. So I thought that it's enough to play this, and a 5/5 is a massive blocker, so I can just prevent the opponent from attacking, or I can trade with some big creature or a trick or with something when I use the oil counter to block. But it turned out that I actually needed to use these as offensive creatures, and that just didn't happen because I had so few ways to crew them. So in blue-white, this is probably not what you want to play, but you can in maybe red blue and a green blue at least. It's easier to have 3 power creatures that crew this thing. It will be better in those archetypes, I would believe. And I still like the whale a lot, but yeah, the red-white matchups they were really nasty. Especially the round 2 opponent had just a sick deck, and the round 3 was not really a good matchup for me either. But now here you go, 1-2 after the streak of 3 O's. Let's claim the prize here, and in the next video I will not try to do any funny stuff. I will try to draft the most winning deck possible, and I won't be picking blue cards just because I haven't drafted blue, but I wanted to do something different. I'm not sad about that. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.